JACALYN. Welcome to another wonderful day here at USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and you are watching the Business Talk Show. It wouldn't be the same without my co-host, mentor, and friend, Mr. Al CINI. Let's bring him on. Hello, Al.
Well, Dr. JACALYN, what a surprise. I had no idea we were doing this today. And as always, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. As I was starting off the show, it seemed like StreamYard was a little stuck, so I was getting worried, but everything seemed to be going well. You know how technology is.
So far, and it's got to hold together because you have a great guest, as always, for us to talk to, and I'm excited about that conversation.
I am too, and we have to thank Mr. Philip Chan. Philip, wherever you are, we're thinking of you, and you always introduce us to the best people, so thank you for taking time out of your schedule to make the introductions. So, Al, we were talking a little bit backstage that last week the two of us were under the weather, coincidentally unrelated, and now we're back at it. So how are you feeling? How are things going for you and your business?
I feel physically a whole lot better than I did about 6 days ago. So I'm happy for that. And business-wise, things are picking up. And we work. It's what we do is very much like what PREET, our guest today, does. Our goal is to take a group of people and help them identify their purpose, so that they can align themselves with that purpose to become more productive, more successful, and happier. And what I like about PREET Dev, our guest today, is that she does that too. A lot of people think that the secret to success is to focus on revenue, cash flow, bottom line, top line, hard-nosed business stuff. But in my experience, and I think in PREET's as well, a lot of the problems, especially that entrepreneurs have, is that they lose sight of the reason why why they started what they started. They get so buried in the transactions that they forget all that. And PREET, as a mentor, is here to help them remember that and get reconnected with it.
Absolutely, Alan. You know, PREET shared with us that she considers herself to be a spiritual mentor for entrepreneurs. And we were chatting just very quickly backstage about coach, the word coach. And I'm wondering, Al, when you think of mentor versus coach, what comes up for you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I hate to use baseball, because I'm not a sports person, but if I'm having problems connecting with the ball with my bat, there are two kinds of coaches. One kind of coach would work with me to become happy with the fact that I couldn't do it. Another kind of coach would work with me to learn how to do it so that I could do it better. I prefer to work with coaches in that second category. And when I think mentor, the purpose of working with a mentor is to become better at something. Not to become happy with your inadequacies, but to learn new skills and make it easier for you to accomplish your goals. And I think PREET falls into that category.
Brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much. What do you say we bring PREET out and hear from her directly?
I can't wait.
All right. Welcome to the show, PREET, joining us from London. Nice to have you.
So much. That was really special. As if we like.
What did I get wrong? Did I get anything wrong?
I resonated with every word, and I could feel your heart. So it was really, really special.
Well, it's great to be reminded of what you do, because so many of us need it.
God bless you. So special. I really feel that the spiritual the reason I say spiritual helping entrepreneurs as a spiritual mentor, because these are spiritual values, the trust, the honesty, authenticity. These sounds like a big words, but these are spiritual values on which we go from wherever we want to get to. If those values are missing, and we have this trend going on in the world where people sort of inflate certain marketing ideas, and they say, yes, we're doing really well. But inside, it's not congruent. It's empty. So it can't flow for a very long time, and then this world is not becoming better place. So I really believe in that. That once we practice those spiritual values consciously, and when we're working together and collaborating and cooperating with each other, and we just like keep each other accountable and sharing with each other, this in this situation you need to use this quality, and in this situation that's the value that you can apply, or virtue. When I started on my spiritual journey in the beginning, I used to say these words like virtues, values, perfection, 16 degrees Celsius perfection. That was really heavy. Go ahead.
You know, bringing all that to life so that it actually makes a difference in the world is how I understand what you do. Isn't that right?
Yes, absolutely. Because you're practicing it in your daily life, and sometimes it's not. We have to be conscious. We have to be present in the moment. If we are always running on automation, then we miss the magic in the moment. So then we miss out the big deal, the big gift that we're gonna receive in the end of that journey. Did that make sense? Like what I said?
It's
Yes.
I'll feed that back to you the way I understand it. Most people think that the problem is in their brain, but your mind and your brain are two different things.
Yes.
What you really need to work on is your mind, which is all of you, not just the knowledge base between your ears, but everything about how you feel about everything you do, not just what you know about it. And I just love that there are people around like you who help people get in touch with that.
Oh, bless you. Well, all the educators that could, the academic, when we're learning all this things that you mentioned earlier, the P&Ls and all those stuff, when we only focused on that, well, look at the state of the world that we are in right now. So this, as a spiritual seekers, maybe it may sound woo-woo to some people, but I think people are waking up more to presence, because it's not woo-woo. It's just being present with yourself. There's no woo-woo in that. It's just that's practical. Only when you are present with yourself, you have a chance to have a go at anything in life.
That's very profound. Dr. JACALYN, what do you think about woo-woo? Do you ever hear woo-woo in what you do?
I have to say, Al, that once we started broadcasting and have different shows, there were a number of people who came on at different times, and I thought, what are they talking about? And I spoke with them later, and they say, oh, it falls under the woo-woo category. So I did some research into it, and I realized that it actually makes a lot of sense. And I think the reason why we get our backs up a little bit when we hear that is because of fear, and we don't really understand. So I think it has to do with really being in a great place with yourself and your spirituality, and being aware of what is going on in the world, and having an open heart to help other people. So that's kind of how I look at it, as opposed to it's, communicating with others from another world, or some other definitions that people might have. So I don't know what your thoughts are, either of you, on that.
It's a spirituality in practical, in your living room, everywhere where we go. So I love the fact that you turn from woo-woo to wow.
Well said. Thank you. Preet, you did share.
Program, you were talking about how you're going through a rebranding, and so you're naturally searching now for what to call what you do. And I'm remembering a quote that I used yesterday from an American writer, and the quote is, the difference between the right word and the next to the right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. When you know the right word, it's not because somebody put it in your head. It's because it emerged from somewhere and made you happy when you felt it. And you've got to be looking for that word. When you're branding yourself, it's not about coming up with a word that convinces the world that they ought to give you money. That's not marketing. Marketing is about communicating to the world that you can make a difference for them in a way that feels right to you, too. Correct. Otherwise, it's a con job.
Totally.
So talk about that whole branding experience for you.
Say that again?
Talk about that whole branding experience and that journey for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything you just said, what was coming up. So every word has a vibration. So it's not just kind of marketing gimmick or something. Everything has every word that we speak. So that's why we have to be like, again, I go back to my previous point about being present with every single word I say, what vibration I'm carrying. So one of the things we talked earlier about was trust. The trust can be only built when my thinking, my speech, and my actions are aligned.
Huh.
So if I'm thinking something different and I'm speaking totally, you getting the words, but it's not going to touch you at all. But when my words and my heart and everything is connected, whatever I say, small, I don't need to speak lots of words. I can say few words, and we're going to be connected, and we can do a lot of productive work in a very short space of time.
And that's a skill you can help people develop.
Right.
And a lot of people need help with exactly that, because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they're supposed to be. They need somebody to help them woo-woo, connect the part of the universe.
Woo-woo, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's not woo-woo. That's the point. Woo-woo is what you call it because you don't know what it is.
Right. My first part of my journey, I grew up in India, and my dad, my family member, like I didn't grow up in a culture where they thought, okay, we're going to educate our daughters, right? I think these days has changed. But then at age 21, I was married and I came to UK as a bride. And I used to ask God, like when I looked at my other friends and my colleagues at work, I thought they could do so many different things. I love singing and music and dancing, but they went to school to learn that. And I used to ask God, well, I didn't get the opportunity to do all of that. So what are you going to give me to compensate for those skills that I missed out as a child? My nephew is 7 years old. He's learning so many different things already. He's at 7 years old. He knows so much. And so just like law of compensation. So then I realized, okay, this is my God gift. I have I've mentored leaders. When they sat in front of me, they were like, this big ego. And after 1 hour session, they were literally, this is not even like I'm exaggerating, on the floor crying in tears. And they said, thank you for doing this to me. I see what you did, and you're perfect what you did. So you're perfect woman, like actually that's the word this particular person used. And so I was able to help them to break free from that ego. And actually more significant word that he said was, you gave me permission to be me for the first time in my life.
That is really powerful stuff.
I was so shocked first, because when he was being like that for a couple of days, we were together for like 1 week in a conference. First 2 days, he was like walking around this big ego and not showing the real self. And I spoke to my one set of friends in the conference. I said, this is happening. They said, no, you can't touch that. You can't ask any questions around that. And my other friend said, oh, well, you can simply say, well, you're not fit into our community. And I thought, that's both too easy. I don't want to do any of that. So I chose my own way of dealing with it. And this person is my really good friend, and we did business together. And so building trust, and so this is what I mean, like really speaking your truth and helping others, even when you're not getting anything out, but also inspiring other people, showing them the way. How do you be your real self without any fears?
Wow. Well, what I'm loving about how you're expressing this, frankly, is that you're tearing up as you're talking about this difference that you make. How does that feel to you? What is that feeling like?
It's a God gift. So it's a compensation that I like. So I now I can now I'm a free woman, so I can learn whatever skills I as a child I couldn't learn, like growing up in the community I grew up. So now I can learn those skills in time. So it's not like I've missed out. But these are the gifts that God's given me. So we all have those gifts. We can learn the skills, but then connect it to your heart. When I'm going to share this a dream I used to have.
Please.
I have many profound dreams, but this was one of them. So I'm in this is how it goes. I'm in a huge boat, a ship kind of thing, and there's a big storm going on, and I've got my whole arms like this. And I've got hundreds and thousands of people, in my arms. I don't know how, but I can hold them in my arms. And there's a huge dragon kind of blowing this fire on us.
Uh-huh.
And after some time, I figure out that this fire is actually not hurting us. It's just illusion that it's hurting us.
Oh.
So then I go to this dragon after some time. I mean, I see everybody's like, oh, safe. I go to this dragon and say, you come down right now. So this dragon comes to my size, and I kiss that dragon, and it turns into paper dragon, and he's got like mascara eyes on my ship, and it's like all softy.
Wow.
So my point is that we have so many illusions. There are many lessons from this dream that I concluded, that we have this, monstrous, like the word, they sayers, that they will say this, and so we have to be somebody else. So when we learn that and we stand up against them, then they sayers really turn into paper tigers or dragons, and you can kiss those dragons.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really fascinating. It sounds like you confronted a lot of your fears.
I love most of my dreams are I'm standing up in front of a group of people and I forgot to put my pants on. Preet's dream is so much better than mine because I think it tells your story so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. We do have a comment, and I'm not sure who this is directed to, but let's put it up here. Hyatt Ives, you're looking good. Let's all take credit for that. Thank you, Hyatt.
Let's all take credit for that.
Thank you, Hyatt.
Sure
we appreciate
it. But thanks, Hyatt.
we appreciate that. I actually had a dream a couple weeks ago. I always have a dream that something's chasing me, and I go to yell, and nothing comes out. I have no voice, and I realized that it means that I wasn't being heard. And now I don't have that dream anymore. Now I'm able to express my voice. So how about that? Yeah. Very interesting. We are going to take a break and hear from a couple of our sponsors. I really love this clip. I want to thank Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard because I think this is so on point. It's called the Earth Shot Prize. And then we'll hear from another of our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Great.
Here we go.
Ours is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Bain tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydbain.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydbain.com.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And hello to our friends at Business Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us. I am thrilled to be here on the Business Talk Show with the managing partner of BCAT Partners, LLC, Mr. Al CINI, and our special guest, PREET Dev, who's joining us from the UK, recently moved. She's a spiritual mentor for entrepreneurs. And before we go to the next question, I want to say hello to Diane Floyd Bain. We just watched her clip that was produced by Mr. CINI. Fantastic. Diane is celebrating her book launch, Rise. Today is the official launch, and she is out in Oklahoma. So hello, Diane, and congratulations.
We're wishing Diane the best. And, Preet, to continue our conversation, which has gotten deep, and I think deep is where people need to go, which is why they're lucky to have you as a resource. There's a quote that I recently read from a sailor's prayer, and it starts with, "Oh God, thy sea is so vast, but my boat is so small." What I like about that, and how I think it relates to what you do, is that one of the first things you do when you work with a client is strip them of the pretense that somehow they're in control. That ego that you talked about that you need to get through, the crying comes from realizing that you're a very small part of something much bigger than you. And that's where PREET Dev comes in. Do I have that right?
Thank you. I think so. Yes.
Talk about how that works. I mean, if I come to you and, I need to make more money and I need to grow my business and I don't have enough customers and my people don't seem to love me.
Sure.
And every one of those things seems like a problem. And I'm hoping you have a solution for each one. But you actually have a solution that goes deeper than any of them. And I can't solve any of those little problems until I tackle the big one.
Totally. We talked earlier about building an inflated kind of ego or branding, which actually has got no legs. So people keep investing in that. And I see every day, like magazines, people investing thousands of pounds and coming on the front cover of the magazine thinking, or somehow they're going to start having this amazing business. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't get you anywhere. One of the things, just to start the conversation, the questions you asked, if I asked you, like, how many people do you know, if we say to them, meditate for 10 minutes every day, people will just be like, got more good. Like, oh, what? I can't do it. I'm too busy. But how many people do you know they could watch television for 10 hours?
Everybody.
Guess what, Pre? Guess what, Pre? You asked the right question, because this guy over here, I've been trying to get him to meditate, and he's a non-practitioner. Correct, Mr. CINI?
I think that's probably, non-practitioner is probably the kind way to putting it. And but I recognize the value of it, because
Right.
there is this searching nature that most people just don't indulge. Instead of searching for who I am, I'd rather watch 10 hours about some fictional character made up on Netflix.
Go inside, then to go inside.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So I read one article about how is that possible when we watch any comedians, on the TV. How is that possible? They always talk about our leaders, and the source of comedy is our political people, like or some sort of how did we come here? So I think as a humanity, entertainment has become more of a value than self-reflection. That's the core of it.
That's
So
that Netflix that you're living every day that you're not watching.
I want to jump in here.
Sure.
Yes. So first of all, I want to say, Al, that was a great acknowledgement that you had. I thought that was really spot on. And the second thing is, I think part of the reason is because once we have the awareness, we have to do the work. And people don't want to do the work. They don't want to change. So you turn the television on and you zone out rather than zoning in, because once you zone in and you realize how much work there is to do, it's kind of like, and I'll share with people, aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth the work on yourself? You're putting so much time everywhere else, and you're literally draining all of your own energy instead of filling up your cup to put more in.
Yep. Close the closet. So rather than organizing it, just like I can't see it. So it's easier. So I think that's the first work we really have to be comfortable with. Be comfortable in being uncomfortable. So once we can do that, then we can just have that moment with us or build that relationship. I don't really have any chance to build relationship with you until I build any relationship with myself. I have no chance. It's a pretense. So people keep living in pretense, and that's the core of it. And they value, I want to say the wrong things, but things that don't have value. They value them because it's easier. They have some sort of mechanism in their brains to do that already. But then that's true. But also it's been the media and the other, influences have also set the systems that way to make them this way. So that's why, again, I come back to presence, being present, being kind, and believing that you worth that work. If you were a 7-year-old child, my nephew is, and I adore him. I always call him the "you my moon." In Punjabi, I call him "you my chand," and so his self-respect is huge. He's humble, but his self-respect is huge, and he works for himself, and he goes after his dreams. So he's doing the work. So because we're conditioning him that way already. And then now we adults, can we believe that we are worth that work? So you do it unpack all these things. It's quite hard to do that. Or then you can work with people like me and yourself and JACALYN, so we can just start unpacking things. Where are the problems they're stemming from? Once we can understand the root of the problem, then we can solve if you put like move, I don't know if you get move in US, there's if you have a wound on the top and you keep putting iodex or something like ointment on the top, but the wound is inside. So you have to eat healthy inside out, and that's how we're gonna solve the problem.
The older I get, the more I realize it's not about Band-Aids. It's not about just plasters on wounds. It's about understanding what's really hurting. And so I want to ask you this, Preet, because people out there need your help. Maybe you can explain for them how that conversation unfolds. Where do you start with somebody? How does that conversation happen?
I love to make mind maps of people's lives just to understand where they are going, what the vision is, and where the challenges are, how they, every single day, really make them understand uh, what are they stuck at, which hurdle they're sitting in front of, instead of understanding how much power, how much resources I need to overcome that hurdle and go the other side. So trying to understand that first, and then help them to find those resources, because they are around us, they're just not recognizing. Their attention is they're overwhelmed generally, and they can't see their own inner self. So we first, my where I like to go is just to self-reflection, and having the mind map of their soul from the childhood to where they want to go, and just like in between the journey.
Preet, thank you for sharing that. I'm wondering what you do for your own self-care, because I think that people watching don't realize that when you are a mentor or a coach, that you get depleted from giving and being present fully, and you have to take care of yourself. So what are some tips that you can share about what you do?
Thank you for asking such a beautiful question. A lot. Just waking up in the morning with self-reflection and meditation, journaling, having cold showers, just to being truthful with myself, being mindful every single word I say. I'll give a short example. A few weeks ago, a friend came over and I was making some food. And I realized when I pour my plate, something simple as that, like being present. I just want to share an example. When I was pouring my plate, I was very loving, like mindful of how I poured my plate. And then when I poured my friend's plate, I wasn't so mindful. So then I realized that, noticed that. Then as I took it to the dinner table, I switched the plates. And I tell you not, could you not, the food I ate that day, it was so tasty and it was so fulfilling for me. And if I had ate out of greed, no matter how much I eat, it wouldn't be fulfilling.
Interesting.
After then, we finished dinner. I told my friend what happened, and she was laughing her head off. But this is the kind of presence I'm talking about, being so mindful and being so honest. And if I had eaten out of greed, I would even still tell her that this is what happened.
Relating that back to work, the whole concept of business, when people hold meetings,
yes,
week after week, month after month, they sit in the same seat in the conference room.
Yeah.
And often all it takes to really get a completely different level of participation is just to sit somewhere else. And not to order everybody else to sit somewhere else, but to make them think that now they're allowed to sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you give people permission like that, and you give yourself permission like that, you start talking about the things that really matter and not just the day-to-day stuff that doesn't.
Correct. All these simple things that we talked about, we may think that, oh, these don't happen in the boardroom or in the office settings, but I think everything is related. So all these things are character building blocks. So the way I do one thing, the way I do everything. So even though I gave an example, which was maybe out of business context, but I really want to just drill that point that these things matter. How we do things, how we being at home. Now we are at home anyway, doing business. So, so sometimes I'm sitting in my tracksuit bottoms having business meetings. So all of that as well. So I think there's no much difference in the business life. So how I'm operating, my skills, my character, the way I show up for my friends, and that's how exactly I show up for. And I want to bring this one point and another point. I know every awesome person on this planet who I love, they've always read Think and Grow Rich in Napoleon Hill's, the kind of the legacy book that we all love. I'm sure you've read it as well. So where it was written, it was in my mentor's house, Bernie Doman. He was based in Florida. Unfortunately, we lost him last year. And so when Napoleon Hill was writing about masterminding, it was his dad hosting the table, and across the table was sitting Jack Kennedy, Thomas Edison, Walt Disney, Zig Ziglar kind of people. And his dad was hosting the table, and my mentor was a baby sitting in his lap, called him Uncle Nappy. So And so he's listening to all this as a child. And so 35 years ago, he built this business or a networking organization, business accelerator program called CEO Space.
Huh.
And in CEO Space, we have this most amazing, like a languaging, the way we talk to each other, collaboration over competition. So, like holding space for each other, understanding, giving each other that moment of. So in the mastermind, these people I just mentioned earlier, they will talk to each other. This is where I'm in my career, and that's the next opportunity I seek. And then they will help each other get it. And that's how they became who they became. So so at CEO Space, we still do the same. So I have learned about being an entrepreneur at CEO Space and working with real deal entrepreneurs who get their hands, dirty and on the ground, working, sometimes get no pay, but still like want to contribute, and then maybe future promise for pay. So I worked with those kind of people who, but then a CEO Space, studying an MBA in school 3 years ago, my tutors didn't even have real like a entrepreneurial experience. They taught me from a book. They taught me how to go back to work, be better at my job. How the companies will sign a contract with me, which is I'm the weaker party in that. It used to drive me crazy in school. But the point is that all of this, it's a family. So I want to the point I want to make is making the tribe. So how do we, it's really important to have your tribe around you. So for me, CEO Space is my tribe. Anything I ever want, for example, if today, Bernie Doman actually gave idea to Richard Kawasaki to write about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wrote it with Sharon Lecter. So all these people, they were able to, Les Brown, Bob Proctor, all these amazing people sort of started their careers from CEO Space to become this. So they needed the tribe, they needed accountability, sharing with each other. Lisa Nichols attended CEO Space more than 65 times before she bought her building in Wall Street, or she had tears of gratitude when she was like she came to see 65 times. Can you imagine? So yeah, so just the point is that tribe, bringing the tribe together, finding people who are like-minded and who want to do the business the way you do it, and they all hold a high space for you and you hold space for them.
That's great.
Thank you.
You mentioned you're a mentor, which you differentiate from coaching, and I think that's valuable in itself. My question is, I know you work with people who need help for the business journey, professional journey they're on. Have you ever worked, though, with coaches who want to learn how to do what you do?
Some people passed my ways, but nothing like officially or anything like that. Sometimes I just give advice to them, and so yeah, nothing a structured way.
I'm thinking that's a whole market for you, frankly, because there are an awful lot of coaches out there who don't know how to take that deep dive into the really important areas that most people would rather watch Netflix than explore. And I think that's a market for you. What do you think, Dr. JACALYN?
I think that's definitely true, because there are a number of people who just, coaches, for example, who just help you on the surface level. And we really need to do a deeper dive. And I think you would be really a great candidate for that, Preet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for seeing that in me. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
We've got some comments. Mr. Hyatt Ives is back. Hello, part 2, and putting out an interesting program. Thank you, Hyatt. And the wonderful Mr. Philip Chan, wonderful book, Think and Grow Rich. And a follow-up from Philip. Yes, Preet, I need to learn from you, Dr. JACALYN and Al.
Yes. I love Philip Chan's avatar.
I do too.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Philip. We really appreciate you. All right, we've actually come to the end of our show, which is always sad. But Preet, I'm going to, very fast, I'm going to spotlight you. And if you could share with our audience who should reach out to you and what's the best way to connect with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh gosh. Well, you can connect me on social media. Everywhere. My name is Preet Dev. I would love to work with anybody who is having a challenging time with all the things going on in the world right now. It's a complex thing to navigate our way in this multidimensional world. And then on top of that, we are so multidimensional. I would love to help you map out your journey of life. It's a beautiful one if we can help each other make it better. So thank you. I look forward to speaking with you. You can find me again on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'll be I'm getting my website together. Until now, I didn't need to put my website together. I was just working on word of mouth, and it was going well for me because I was also studying. So now I'm getting that all sorted out. So you will see more of me out there. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you very much. And by the way, Preet, we have a special hello from someone who's also celebrating a birthday today. It's the lovely, beautiful Daphne DeLucci. Happy birthday, Daphne. And she said to say hello to you, Preet. So
Hi, Daphne.
Happy birthday, Daphne. Okay, thank you again for being here, Preet. We really appreciate it. And I detect that there is another show in there when you were talking about your past and some of the things that you went through. So I'd love to have you sign up on Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity, or I Have a Story to Tell.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's great seeing you. Bye-bye.
Wishes. Bye-bye.
Bye. She was delightful. Yes, wonderful. And again, thank you, Philip.
I just sent Preet a LinkedIn connection request. So, I mean, she's right. It's easy to find her, and it's definitely worth finding her if you're looking for the kind of deep answer that will make a difference in your life and your work.
Yes, she's under PREET, PREET, capital D, period. That's where I found her. Is that where you found her as well?
Same thing. Beautiful.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Al, it's been a fantastic show. I thank you. I'm going to spotlight you, and I'm going to run your banner. So how can people contact the wonderful Mr. Al CINI, and who should reach out?
Well, the people that should reach out are leaders of organizations or members of teams. It could be a two-person partnership. It could be a whole company. If you feel as though, and we have plenty of research that indicates that it's productive and helpful to connect your people with your purpose, we have a methodology for that. We call that methodology the Brand and Culture Alignment Toolkit. You can reach me by email at al.cini@getbcat.com, al.cini@getbcat.com. Or you could enroll in a webinar that we're running. We run it once a month. The next one is October 12th, 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And that is, you can enroll at getbcat.com, getbcat.com/webinar. So sign up. I hope you'll join us. And it runs about 45 minutes. And it's a how-to. It's a workshop. We teach you how to do this. We don't just tell you how we do it, although we spend some time on that. It's about helping you, in your very next meeting, have a meeting that meaningfully connects your people with your purpose.
Thank you, Al.
Pleasure. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN.
I look forward to seeing you again soon. And I'm just going to close out the show. So I really appreciate it. It's been great seeing you and having this interview with you. And thank you, Preet.
Thank you, Doc.
We've got that down, don't we?
Well, I think we do that.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye now.
Oh. Well, we were frozen for a second, and now we're... He's just doing that. Okay. You can hang around. It's fine. You can hang around. I'm just going to give some... Okay. Bye. I just have a few announcements. So you're used to us having 18 to 20 shows a week, and that is actually changing. Some of our shows, namely Talking Heads, are off for the rest of this year because we are launching a brand new platform for Talking Heads. Talking Heads are by invitation only, and you must be at the top of your game with 5 years experience in the field that you're in to be considered to be part of our value for value exchange. If you're interested, you can email me at JACALYN at drjacalyn.com. And I will look for my banner. We are also hiring interns. We're looking for 5 interns. So if you'd like to get some experience in the broadcasting industry, please do reach out. You can contact me at drjacalyn at usaglobaltv.com. I've got several emails. The next thing I want to mention is be on the lookout for our newsletter coming out tomorrow with more exciting information. Also, we have some new shows that we are introducing for the remainder of the year, some fun events. We've got a cooking show with Ricky McKenna and Simon McDonald. It's called The United Kitchens. Ricky is joining from Texas and Simon is joining from Scotland, and they are revving up those kitchens. Okay, we've also got a holiday show based on holiday traditions, and that's with Daphne DeLuigi and Diane Floyd-Bames. We're excited about that. Finally, my website is being completely overhauled and updated, drjacalyn.com. So look for some changes coming soon. So we'll be signing off for today and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thanks for being here again. Thank you, Mr. CINI. Always a pleasure. And thank you, Preet. We look forward to having you back again soon. Bye, everyone.